Hey everyone, welcome back to Daily Devotions. Pastor Steve here walking with you in God's Word. Another day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Rejoicing that we get to walk by faith, rejoicing that we get to see the resurrected Jesus over and over again, being able to encounter us with his words, encounter us with his presence, and then being able to see, what are you going to do with that? What does that look like going forward for you? And so that is from Luke chapter 24. We're in this next section here where Jesus, again, on that day of the resurrection, appears to two others on the road to Emmaus. And so we pick up in verse 13 of chapter 24 of the Gospel of Luke. Now, that same day, two of them were going to a village called Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem. They were talking with each other about everything that had happened. As they talked and discussed these things with each other, Jesus himself came up and walked along with them, but they were kept from recognizing him. He asked them, "What are you discussing together as you walk along?" They stood still, their faces downcast. One of them, named Cleopas, asked him, "Are you only a visitor to Jerusalem and do not know the things that have happened there in these days?" "What things?" he asked. "About Jesus of Nazareth," they replied. "He was a prophet, powerful in word and deed before God and all the people. The chief priests and our rulers handed him over to be sentenced to death, and they crucified him. But we had hoped that he was the one who was going to redeem Israel. And what is more, it is the third day since all this took place." So one of the things that is really spoken to in detail there is saying, what is more, this is the third day. He said he was going to come and redeem Israel, and what is more, it is the third day. Two things there. It is understood within Jewish custom, within Jewish burial, that on the third day, that's when everything is kind of finalized. Everything is, the spirit leaves the body, and being able to say it's definitely a dead person. I don't know how to describe it any more than that. But also the second reality is maybe they heard before that the Son of Man must be lifted up, but on the third day he would rise. So either both and, being able to say, according to our customs, it's true, it's real, he's dead. And on the third day he said he would rise, but it's the third day. And maybe that didn't come true either, yet he's standing in their midst. And so it says here in verse 22, in addition, some of our women amazed us. They went to the tomb early this morning, but didn't find his body. They came and told us that they had seen a vision of angels who said he was alive. Then some of our companions went to the tomb and found it just as the women had said. But him they did not see. Jesus said to them, "How foolish you are, and how slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Did not the Christ have to suffer these things and then enter his glory?" And beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he explained to them what was said in all scriptures concerning himself. So isn't that amazing? Jesus went back to the scriptures, what they have, what they know, what they've heard, and began to explain everything from Moses to the prophets concerning him, so that he would be able to open their eyes, open their minds to the revelation, to the fulfillment that he did of the scriptures. As they approached the village to which they were going, Jesus acted as if he were going farther, but they urged him strongly, "Stay with us, for it is nearly evening. The day is almost over." So he went in to stay with them. When he was at the table with them, he took bread, gave thanks, broke it, and began to give it to them. Then their eyes were opened, and they recognized him. And he disappeared from their sight. They asked each other, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he talked with us on the road and opened the scriptures to us?" They got up and returned at once to Jerusalem. I think that's an incredible thing. Is I spoke about a couple of days when we're encountered by Easter, it sends us. It sends us into these places to proclaim. It sends us into places to be able to declare victory. Here is it's nearly evening. You shouldn't go any farther. They're telling Jesus to not walk any farther. But as soon as they had their eyes open, they hurried back to Jerusalem 7 miles. And it was the evening. They found the 11 and those with them assembled together and saying, "It is true, the Lord has risen and has appeared to Simon." Then the two told what had happened on the way and how Jesus was recognized by them when he broke the bread. Jesus always reveals himself as the Word of God, as the truth, as the fulfillment of all Scripture. There isn't a place in the Scriptures, there isn't a place in your Bible that doesn't point to Jesus. And Jesus shows those disciples that. And as they're shown that, they're sent to the other. They're sent to the 11 and being able to run it and be able to say, it is true, we saw him, just as the women did, just as the Scriptures have said. And I wonder how much of that proclamation was just flowing out. And some of the 11 are starting to buy in. They're starting to come close. And next video we get to see what then happens that night. As those disciples came back, as they approached the 11, they were in the room. Jesus shows up. It's an amazing thing throughout all the situations, all the circumstances in our lives, whatever we're walking through right now. Because Jesus is alive, I can say this with confidence, and I pray that you can receive this with a lot of boldness as well, to be able to say, Jesus is going to show up. He is present. He's present in our lives. He's directing us in our paths. He's directing us towards righteousness. Not just saying, hey, have a good day, but directing us towards the Father's will. And to that, it's a day that we say, let us rejoice and be glad in it. Jesus has shown up. He is with us, and he is leading us to the Father's will. Have a blessed day.